Welcome to a new week. This evening we have been to Aldi, we've been to the park, we're now watching Married at First Sight, and I am making a salad. Pear, olives, parmesan flakes, olive oil, sea salt, a couple of bell peppers with cream cheese. Good morning, I'm about to go to work, having a quick porridge. Yesterday I got home from work, I felt really down about my whole fertility journey so far. This morning I'm feeling really good again. We went to the supermarket last night, did a shop. I'm like drastically going to change my diet. Really enjoyed a salad I had for dinner last night. Having salad again for lunch today. Feeling inspired for food that's easy and enjoyable and going to help us in our journey. Shifting my focus to thinking about things like that. Having a good diet might just like help us instead of spending all this money at a fertility specialist.
Social media, what you're consuming, and even your identity on social media a little bit. Now, this is where I don't want to...
It is Wednesday morning. I am having my porridge and listening to a podcast. Law of Attraction Changed My Life. Coaching to get Amber, her episode Bumps and Babies. Anyway, I thought I'd just come on here and update where I'm at. So I think last week I updated you on what happened with the fertility specialist. This week, because I don't know, something didn't feel right when we walked away from that appointment. Something just didn't feel right in my body, and so I had to deal with not only my own reaction but his reaction to the whole appointment as well. He wasn't sitting right with it either. So what I've decided, she gave us this little folder of stuff that we need to go away and do, which, cool, great. But it's a lot of stuff, and it's a lot of stuff like getting an ultrasound, something I've had done twice already, and getting an iron infusion, even though they haven't even checked my levels at the moment, just didn't sit right with me. So I called my own doctor and like wanted to see their opinion, and they said like, we just find out really odd that they haven't like tested you to see where your iron's at. Like, yeah, they can look at tests that you had last year, but that's like last year. They need to check where your iron's at now before giving you an iron infusion. So that's, yeah, it kind of confirmed my feeling about that. Not only that, it's just very expensive. She wants me to get my tubes flushed, which costs like $1,000. And given that like a couple of cycles ago we had a positive pregnancy, I think it's just a little bit like too much. Like all I really wanted was to go in and for her to be like, you know what, how are you feeling? What's going on with my voice? Just prescribe me on some sort of medication that's going to help further than what the metformin is or something like that. But no, she just gave us a whole lot of complicated tasks that feel a little bit too far. Last night, I've made the definitive decision to not worry about returning to that clinic, to not worry about going to get the iron infusion. And in a few weeks' time or so, I will book an appointment with my GP. I will get her to check over my vitamin D levels, my iron levels. I might get the blood test that this lady wanted me to get, which is karyotype, CF, SMA, fragile X, prolactin, whatever the fuck that means. So I'm gonna go to the GP, get those levels checked, get that checked, and also ask her if she can prescribe me letrozole to induce an ovulation, because GPs can prescribe it anyway, and I thought for some reason that they couldn't, so that's why we went to the fertility specialist. It'll cut the cost significantly, but I also really trust my doctor, so I feel like I'm in good hands with her, and I just didn't get that vibe when we went to the specialist. So I mean, she probably will ask me how I went at the specialist, and I'm just going to be honest and say it just didn't feel right. It feels expensive, and I feel like I'm retracing a lot of my steps. I'm not saying she's a bad specialist or anything. Like, other people probably have a great like experience with her. It's just that I think I have such a great relationship with my doctor, and I didn't really get that same treatment with her. I got my medication yesterday. It had arrived. It's not actually, I say medication, it's a vitamin basically with a bunch of vitamins to support trying to conceive when you have PCOS. I'm hoping that taking these alongside the metformin might be all I need. big orange pills. So if anything positive come out of that meeting with the specialist, it'll be these little fellas here. So hopefully these work wonders. What I was just listening to in this episode, the Bumps and Babies one, the law of attraction, is like, if you treat your experience of trying to conceive as a scarcity and a lack, that's what you're going to get back to you. If you have this mindset of like hope and knowing it's going to happen for you and acting in that way, that's going to happen for you. So I'm very aware of how my thoughts and like how I act reflect in what I'm attracting. I know it's going to happen for me. I don't feel as if I need all this stuff that she's given me. I just feel like I need one little thing just to help. Might not even need that, to be honest. Like, I think it is a timing thing and understanding my ovulation, and it will happen like it's happened before. It's just gonna happen randomly again, and I'm gonna be like, oh my god, it happened. Like, so there's nothing wrong with me other than like the fact that I have PCOS. So I'm completely ditching everything in that and cancelling my iron infusion and regrouping with my GP. When I do get my period, because I still haven't got my period, I'm up to day 52 of my cycle. The last couple of cycles have been about 45 days long, so I'm about 8 days late for my period. And my basal body temperature, doing this. My period will show up when it's meant to show up, hopefully soon.
We do det every Thursday night, don't we, have a drink?
It's gone for the Palmer night special, and I've gone for margarita.
I think Australia they do it Palmer's every Thursday night.
Ricky, what's this? You got your ice cream too?
Okay. Breathe, bro.
Good evening, it is Friday and I'm excited it's the weekend. I am currently making a healthy version of vegetarian nachos. You ask, am I doing that? I have made my veggie mix and I am just heating up a kumara, also known as sweet potato. Call them kumaras in New Zealand. And I'm making a guacamole to go on top. Tiny bit of cheese. I feel good, like I have an understanding and a good grocery list and meal kind of plan, or like, you know, if I'm like, what do I eat? I can look at this list and just be like, okay, I can eat something like off of this. Great making a change like this. Like, it's not too big of a change, but it is also like a good change to make that is going to make a world of difference. Especially after, I don't know how, when I last updated the vlog, but I found a podcast that I will link below. She's actually a Kiwi, Claire Goodwin. She shares a lot of information about having PCOS and navigating life with the syndrome. So I have been listening to her this week, making this change with my food. And I have made a doctor's appointment to go see my doctor and get her perspective. When I go to my doctor's, what I want to talk to her about is all of this. It's a lot. I know, buddy, I know. Nom, nom, nom. Mashed up avocado. Bit of lemon juice, bit of salt, a bit of coriander, tiny bit of pepper. This is so damn good. Can't wait. Getting very impatient for my kumara to cook. Voila. Saturday morning. And it is raining. I was very hesitant about going out to the toilet in the rain. Good boy. We're just having a very lovely and slow Saturday, aren't we, Frankie? Hanging up the washing in the other room, and he's just quite content hanging out in here.
morning. It is Sunday morning and Frankie and I have come out for a walk. I am being like, I know I've probably sound like a broken record because I've talked about this like every single day of this week, but this is my life right now, and this is what my vlogs are, like a reflection of what is my life in this current moment that I'm filming. I just can't believe like the amount of information available to us now, like on TikTok, Apple Podcasts, in general. We just have so much information available to us, and I don't know why I haven't thought to look up PCOS and conceiving prior to this week. Like, I just kind of thought I knew what PCOS was and that the only way to deal with it was through medication. So, as you know from previous clips, this week I have really changed my diet, but even like last night I was watching some more stuff on TikTok and have found some more exciting things to incorporate for my daily intake of nutrients, because I just was not hitting the nutrients that I need as a person, but especially as a person with PCOS. I've learned that PCOS is not actually cysts around your ovaries. PCOS is a condition where your blood sugars and your insulin levels are like the main thing of play here. Insulin resistance means that when you intake sugar, it's not going to all the places it needs to go to. Therefore, your body like needs more, and so you crave more sugar, you crave more carbohydrates. And I have had a very sugar carbohydrate rich diet, which is not good. I've recognized that, and I've known all along that I needed to change that. I guess losing weight for me was not like a big enough of a push for me to change my health. But conceiving is very, very, very important to me. It's my top priority, and getting my cycles to regulate means that that's like the number one thing I need to do is focus on my health and diet to regulate my cycles, because having the right nutrients and eating a good diet is going to help with my blood sugars and my insulin resistance, as well as I'm taking metformin. I just feel like this week my eyes have been opened to a whole new world that gives me another spout of hope. So I've cut back my sugar, I've cut out fizzy drinks, I've cut out unnecessary sugars that I do not need to be eating. I've cut back majorly on carbohydrates. Like now, instead of having all those like having pancakes for breakfast, all that stuff like with sugar and just stuff that's not good for PCOS and my health in general, I'm now going to be replacing with like good fats, fiber, protein, nutrients that I need, iron. So I now plan to have smoothies in the morning with like chia seeds, berries, protein powder, Greek yogurt, have them like every morning, and if not that, like avocado on sourdough or rye bread with tomatoes and eggs and mushrooms and spinach, having really nutritious breakfasts and like nutritious lunches and meals. And I've made myself a list now that is making me feel like it's easy. Like, so I think when something doesn't feel easy, there's resistance, like you just put it off. But now that I've made it feel easy and exciting, and like I'm like geared up to like change this narrative for myself, I just feel like it's going to bring results. As well as obviously I'm going to see my doctor on the 8th of April. Now I'm on day 54 of my cycle, 55 maybe, and I need this cycle to come to a close so that I can move on to the next one. I know my body's probably just like trying to ovulate, and that's what happens with PCOS. Like if you do not ovulate, because like all your hormones like gear up to ovulate, and then it just crashes down because like all of a sudden, I don't know the technical words for it, but basically they gear up to go out on their night out, and then all of a sudden something happens and they don't end up getting to the club, which is an analogy for the ovulation doesn't quite happen. So then it gears up again to try and do it the next week, and then the next week, and then the next week, and then so you just end up with this long cycle of forever being in this follicular phase of your hormones trying to ovulate for you, and that is what I'm currently going through. It is exhausting, to say the least. But yeah, I just want to go to the doctor and talk about that. I've been doing my basal body temperature, and it's just been kind of staying at around that same like 35.9 to like 36.10, so it's kind of staying around that midline, but like fluctuating a wee bit, and I just need it to not do that. Also, as well as diet change, getting out and walking at least like twice a day for a good walk, getting in nature, lowering this cortisol, the stress hormone, because stress is another big player in PCOS. PCOS is not cysts on your ovaries as like everyone assumes, because polycystic ovaries, obviously we think it's cysts, but it's, I don't know all the technical terms, but basically there's like a string of pearls around your ovaries. I don't know how to describe it. I know it's not cysts, and it's more of a like blood sugars affecting your hormones, therefore like there's something that happens around your ovaries and letting go of the eggs. But people with PCOS actually have more eggs because we release less of them. But it can just be a quality thing too. Anyway, I'm probably butchering the explanation of it. All I know is when I listen to it, it makes perfect sense in the podcasts and the TikToks that I listen to, and it's just blown my mind. So if you are someone out there that has PCOS and you're just like, where do I even start? Like, what do I even do? What is going on? Why is my doctor just putting me on a birth control pill? Why am I just like having fed like little to no information? Check out different podcasts, check out TikTok videos. Like, there is so much information out there, and I really like, I'm kicking myself for not doing this sooner. Anyway, I'm gonna go and enjoy this lovely peaceful walk, sit on the grass, get in touch with the ground, reboot my circadian rhythms, all that, listen to the nature. The good thing about Australia is there's a lot of bird activity. And it's funny actually, a couple of years ago I had what you call plantar fasciitis, which is a really painful thing that goes on in your feet after you've sat down or slept for the night and you try to stand up on your feet. It is very painful, and it takes like a couple of minutes, if not 10 minutes, for your feet to kind of not feel painful. It's a symptom of PCOS or insulin resistance, which is wild. Other obvious symptoms I've had throughout my life is, obviously I get really bad facial hair growth. You wouldn't know though, because I've had, like, I shave it and have actually been really lazy with laser hair removal, but obviously shave between laser hair removal appointments. I've just not really been back for a while, so I shave my face. I had really bad acne as a teenager, and going into puberty I went on Roaccutane to get rid of my acne, and it worked wonders, and I hardly ever get any pimples or like all my scarring's gone. That worked wonders for me. I occasionally will get like a pimple or two when I'm due for my period, but that's like no biggie. And I mean, I used to wear so much makeup because I was so insecure about pimples and acne, but now, like, since it's all cleared up, I don't really wear makeup much because that's what I used to be so insecure about. And then the other obvious symptom that I have is obviously my irregular cycles, and it has happened before in the past. Like when I went through moments of not being on birth control, I'd be like, where the hell's my period? And I'd go see a doctor and I wouldn't get diagnosed with PCOS because my blood works would come back normal, but obviously you don't need just blood works, you need like an ultrasound and or at least like 2 out of 3 symptoms. So yeah, I've got all the symptoms, and obviously my ultrasound showed it. So yeah, just be really vigilant with getting your diagnosis if you have a gut feeling, because I've had a gut feeling all my life. Excess hair growth, acne, irregular periods, it was all there. And then obviously last night I just learned that plantar fasciitis is also a symptom. Yeah, and it's a lifelong thing. It's not just like while you're trying to conceive. I got some black and white chia seeds because I've learned something new, that you put them in your water and they go in like a gel-like ball, and they are so healthy. A friend of mine at work told me to do it a while ago, and I finally remembered to do it. Very wholesome Sunday afternoon, evening. Just had a lovely shower. The room is all clean and tidy. Views are going for the relaxing ambience. I had the candle on while I was showering. And as well as obviously healthy eating, what else is important is also getting good sleep to reset my sleeping is a very good way to decrease your cortisol, stress hormone. So making sure I'm getting back into a good pattern of sleep. Obviously I'll wake up early in the morning and take my basal body temperature. I'll wake up and make myself some healthy breakfast tomorrow. So I hope to see you next week and see you then. Bye.